assistant's assistant. And let me just tell you what they're telling us. Find something. Get back to me tomorrow afternoon. I mean, how long has that conversation been going on? And then the guy has to walk into his boss and say, dude, we got
Nothing.
nothing.
Yeah, and listen, I think you're exactly right. And you know, they were going to do this thing. Maybe they could have kept it on the down low a little bit instead of Holder coming out going all Barney Fife and. But yeah, so be interesting to see what Brian Williams has to say. Well, that would have happened yesterday because it looks like Boyd put this up 18 hours ago. By the way, folks, there are 7,000 people looking at it right now. Nearly 600,000 views, 26,000 shares. People still interested in this, aren't they?
Oh, they certainly are. And then you add the county judge. There are going to be some people that are like, no, this is a travesty. There's a cover up. Holder's a racist. Somebody has something. I mean, the accusations of wrongdoing and this and that, it's going to be impossible not to overturn that.
Now,
I mean,
that's an
just
interesting point, dude, because you see, Holder might now be a double racist because we know how he feels about white people. And now he appears to be racist, as you point out, to his own race. So that's a rare bird, man.
right. Well, here's the fundamental assumption. We know that Michael Brown shouldn't have been killed. B, he was black and Wilson was white.
Hmm.
Therefore, something wrong happened. So any conclusion other than that is therefore if he's not found guilty of multiple crimes, including civil rights violations and other things, then there's definitionally somewhere in the middle of that somebody's either covering it up or not doing their job.
Right, and
Because
of
we already
course,
know that.
well, sure, and
I mean,
of
I'm
course,
sitting here in Newport Beach, and it's clear as day to me, right?
yeah, and of course, I don't agree with the lethal force was not viable here, but still, yeah, you're right. They connect those dots, and if again, it goes back to Trayvon Martin deal. Any outcome other than charge, convict, and punish was not going to be right. So.
Right. Well, I don't know if there's been any plans for it. Maybe not on the Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson level. So we might get a B list of civil rights folks. Because maybe Sharpton and Jackson are realizing, all right, maybe there is no there. But
Well, I don't know.
the presumptive footstep followers of those two giants of the civil rights movement, the presumptive footstep followers, you know that's going to happen. There's going to be guys out there trying to make a name for themselves within the community, highlighting this injustice and blah blah blah.
Yeah, I would correct it to those two giants of the race baiting industry. Martin Luther King was a giant as it relates to civil rights, but yeah,
Well,
that
that
would put.
was obviously my tongue in cheek
No,
joke.
I know. I'm just in case we have had guests on the show that don't get our humor, so I was just presupposing that possibly some listeners needed clarification there just to make sure that they didn't think you were an idiot. Um, so
Beyond the other things that I say that give that
Well,
impression.
yeah, all they got to do is listen to a few shows and they'll know we're both idiots. But yeah, that would put those guys, Sharpton and Jackson, the reverends, in an uncomfortable position to decry this decision by the feds as racist because Eric Holder was the one that called for it. So that would be a bit uncomfortable, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so. So that is the thing that's on. Well, one of the many things that caught my attention this morning, just because there are two aspects to it. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. You know what? Something that a couple of things that caught my attention this morning. This now dust up between Boehner and the White House over Bibi Netanyahu. Did you see that?
I did. In
Is that
fact, the first
awesome
thing
or
I
what?
saw, yeah, the first thing I saw is I forget where. Might have been Drudge. I don't remember where, but that Obama is not going to have Netanyahu because there's a long-standing practice of in
Wait, no, go
advance
back
of
up
an
the bus
election.
first. Back up the bus first.
Yeah, sorry.
So no, that's okay. So Boehner invites, excuse me, Netanyahu to speak before Congress without telling Obama, which that's my favorite part, one of my favorite parts, right? So then Netanyahu accepts, and then Obama gets his panties in a wad. So now tell what you were going to say. I'm going to say the next part because that's even more hilarious.
Well, then, so yeah, the president uh, explained that he doesn't see, um, other national leaders of whatever country if they have a pending election. And I guess the explanation, I can't shoot now. I need to find that article that I saw. But the idea is that meeting with a leader immediately in advance of their own election somehow conveys some kind of.
Yeah, he doesn't want to influence the election. And Bibi coming in March, and originally Boehner wanted to have him come next month, but Netanyahu asked if he could do it in March in conjunction. He's going to appear at APAC, that's the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee, because he'll be here. Excuse me. So, how fortunate for the community organizer, because that appearance, that trip to the U.S. To speak before APAC is like 2 weeks ahead of the election in Israel. So that gives Obama the out. But I mean, how transparent can you be about it? Because you know how pissed off he was.
Oh my gosh, yes. Well, you know what? There's two things that come to mind about this. On the protocol, the White House is upset because John Boehner breached protocol, blah blah blah. Does John Boehner have to request or notify the White House that they invited somebody to come speak?
No,
Is
I
that
mean,
a thing?
well, no, it's not a thing. I mean, it may be supposed protocol, and you know what? It may be a bit odd that Congress invites a foreign head of state to come to the country without consulting with the White House. But screw the White House. I mean, the way that Obama has treated Netanyahu, thrown him under the bus at every opportunity. No one has suffered more than the Palestinians, and dissed Israel along the way. I mean, come on, so what? I'd argue that he's breached protocol or whatever have you as it relates to one of our most loyal allies. So I think it's just hilarious.
Right. It just, and then the other part, we don't see close proximity, long-standing practice and principle. What does that even mean? Well, there's been a I mean, I don't know.
Well, there's also been a long-standing principle of defending Israel. I mean, do you remember?
Well, exactly.
Dude, this goes back like 3 years ago, maybe, when Israel had plans to bomb Iranian nuclear facilities. And the regime, that would be our regime, leaked them to the press ahead of time. Do you remember
that? Yes.
So, I mean, listen, I don't. I just A, I love that Boehner did it and didn't tell the White House, and B, I love Bibi Netanyahu. Have you ever seen clips from his? I think he's made two. This will be the third, but addresses to joint sessions of Congress. Have you ever seen YouTube of those?
Oh yeah, I certainly have.
If we had a president with, let's go Hispanic here, the cojones that Bibi Netanyahu has in the face of everything that Israel confronts in the world, we'd be in a whole lot better a whole lot better shape. If Obama even felt a tenth about America the way that Bibi Netanyahu feels about Israel.
That's exactly right. I mean, yeah, he's an amazing world leader, and I think that the White House was. I mean, somebody suggested, well, you know what, we really can't have him here because, that's exactly, and they're just running to hang their hat on that particular night.
Oh yeah, maybe before they even told Obama, they're going, dude, we got to find a way to justify not meeting with this jackass. Okay,
Oh yeah, I mean they're
we
sitting in
got
a
to figure out
conference
before we go
room.
to Obama. Yeah, we gotta, dude, we gotta do this because he will effing lose it.
Right. They're all sitting in a conference room talking about it, and one of the pointy head 22-year-old, JFK public policy graduates. Just, wait, I know how we can keep this from happening. And everybody then is cheering and excited. They run a memo into the, chief of staff. Hey,
Elder
we've
Jared,
solved
Dan
the problem.
Yeah, exactly. So again, this is just hilarious on, like we said, multiple levels. Boehner does it without telling Obama. Netanyahu accepts, and then Obama gets his panties in a wad, and they find a way to not invite him to the White House. I mean, could they be any more petty? Probably
No,
not.
they couldn't. So here's the thing then. When he's here doing that, Obama obviously is not going to go and sit. God, could you imagine? He's not, or let me ask you this. Is then he going to go and make some statements himself? Because Congress has to invite him to come in and speak. He can't just say, "Hey, I want to speak as well." Is he going to go? Is he
No, no,
not
no,
going to
no,
see
no.
him at all?
No,
I mean,
no. I mean, I mean, historically, I don't know if it's ever happened, but when someone makes an address to joint members of Congress, the president is not there. I'm not saying it's never happened. I don't know that, but I mean, generally, that's not what goes on. No, I think that keeping along the line of the pettiness, I think he will ignore the fact that he even comes unless they feel a need. And of course, they'll shove sock puppet Josh Earnest out to the press room to comment on anything. Well, obviously they will be asked questions about anything. He will be asked questions about anything that Netanyahu says. So he will respond. But I would expect Obama will say nothing.
it's just amazing to me that he's going to be a couple thousand yards from maybe not even a couple thousand yards from where
Right.
Netanyahu will be. Supposedly our number one friend in the Middle East, and well, no, because he's got an election coming up. I'm gonna, refuse to meet. I think that's just absurd.
And in an odd way, dude, it is absurd. In an odd way, Israelis, the Israeli press, loathe Obama for the way he has treated Netanyahu and their country. So you would think, if Obama was thinking this through, he was thinking like, okay, if I actually do invite him to the Oval Office and I buddy up with him and put my arm around him and of course Netanyahu is always completely diplomatic and so forth. That could actually hurt. That could actually hurt Netanyahu. I think maybe we need to make a call to Dan Pfeiffer and tell him that Obama needs to use a bit of reverse logic here.
Yeah. I mean, I just think with everything going on in the world, the optics, just for the president, the optics of, even if he gets up there and says, "Hey, you know what? I actually can't wish you the best of luck in your election," or something stupid he could say, to avoid the appearance of partiality.
Mm-hmm. Of course, as
Uh,
we know, Obama is not interested in optics. Remember?
oh God, yeah, and also know that whoever is running against Netanyahu, Michelle and Barack are like really, really, really trying to figure out how to get some money in that guy's campaign war chest
Hmm.
to oust Netanyahu.
You can't. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. But
Maybe
what a
not. I don't know, but
no, what a petty little man, though. Really.
that's exactly right.
Yeah. We're under a minute,
Yeah,
dude.
with friends like that, man. All right, so well then you take us out, man.
All right, so we got so we have no guests today, man, and we have no videos or clips to play. So it's going to be you and I wall to wall. Probably won't talk about food today, but we will be back and talk about other interesting stuff in depth. This is the Right Mics with Mike Miller and Michael Hausum. Don't go away. Do not go away.